Okay, in this one, so we are going to do the activity 2 now. So we have completed the activity 1. So in the activity 1, what we actually did, so we have implemented a simple Servlet application to get user inputs from the HTML, that means the client side, and then display those back to the user. But here in the activity 2, what we are going to do is we are going to connect our servlet with the database, and then we are going to save this information, that means the first name, last name, username, and password to the database. So let's complete this one. So here the pre-requirement is actually activity 1 should be completed, so we already completed in the last video. So now in this one we will see how we are going to do the activity 2. So first we need to create the database. So I will first start my exam. So I will go to the exam control panel. So I will start Apache web server and also MySQL. Okay, now I'm going to PHP my admin interface. So here first thing is I need to create a database called MyWeb. So I'm going to create this database MyWeb, and then here I need to create a table called user. So it's having 1 2 3 4 5 fields. So I'm going to create a table user and 5 fields. Create, and first one is ID, first name, last name, username, password. So all these are varchar type, but this will be text because we are going to encrypt this password in this activity. So here this should be varchar 100 150. So we will put length as 100 150, and this ID is a primary key and auto increment. So we will make this auto increment ID auto increment. So then we will save this table. Okay, so this the user table, and this ID will be the primary key, and it is auto increment. Okay, so now we have completed the database side. So now we again go to the previous activity. So we have created the register servlet. So this is the previous activity. Now this is actually activity 2. So first I will export this activity 1. So you can go to export, and we will use this file system, and activity 1. So we are going to export to the desktop. Okay, so we have exported this activity 1. So now so I'm going to rename this as activity 2. So we will make this activity 2. So because now we are going to work in the activity 2. Okay, so this is activity 2 now. So in this activity 2, so we are having the register servlet and also index.html. So the register servlet, now we are not going to display these things back to the user. We are going to save to the database. So when you are going to save the database, the first thing is we need to implement a connection between the servlet application and the database. So during the theory part, we have discussed how we are going to connect a servlet application or the Java application with the database. So now here we are going to create a separate class called DB connector. So this DB connector class will be the interface to connect with the database. So we will go to the source folder here, and I'm going to create a new package here. So we will name this as com.classes. Okay, com.classes. So inside that I'm going to create a new Java class. So I will name this as DB connector. Okay, and then click finish. So this is DB connector. So now I'm going to create a connection object here. to connect our Java servlet application to the database. So to create the connection, so normally we need to have four variables. The first one is so I will make this as a static variables. So the first one is private static, so string db URL. So we need to have the URL of the database, and then we can have first URL, and second one is db username, and the third one is db password, and also we need to have a driver to register because normally Java cannot directly call to the can't directly call to this MySQL, so there should be a middleware to communicate with the MySQL. So we are going to have that driver here. So normally the driver name is com.mysql.jdbc.driver. Okay, so this will be the driver, and then we need to get the URL. So we're going to get the URL. So here we can see there's a tab called data sources. So you can go here, and then you can right click here and you can go new, and from here you can select MySQL, and then this will be the URL. Okay, so this will be the format of the URL. So I'm going to copy this one, and I'm going to cancel this window, and here I'm going to paste it like this. So now what is our database? So we will go to the PHP myadmin. So this will be our database. You can see the DB is my web app, my web. So I'm going to copy this one, and then here I'm going to replace this database with my own database. So that's my web, and I'm going to use the DB username as test user. So you can use your database username and password. So in my one it's test user. Okay, now we have added the relevant variables. So now we will create a public method to get the connection. So public, but I'm using static, so then I can directly access it. Public static get. So I'm going to get the connection here. So the connection is actually comes under java.sql package. So therefore, so I need to first import this package here. So I will import the package. So that will be java.sql.asterisk. Okay, so that means it will import all the java.sql packages. So here connection get connection. Okay, so now we will have a connection object here. So we will name this as con, and I'm going to equal null value very beginning, and I'm going to return this con. Return this con. So now when you are going to use this JDBC driver, we know that it's a third party one. So therefore first we need to register this JDBC driver with the environment, Java runtime environment. So therefore we can use class.4name, but here you know that we will get some exceptions because if the drive is not found, so then we will get some issues. So therefore what I'm doing is I'm creating a try catch block here, and then so here I'm going to have this class.phone so inside this try, so I'm going to have class.phoneName, and this will be driver. So then I'm going to create a con by using driver manager dot get connection and db URL, then db username and db password. Okay, so all these things I have added. Now the connection, so we created the connection here. So now the connection we are going to return it, but if any issues, so then we will use a print here. Print e dot get message. So we are going to display this message. Okay, now that is the DB connector class. So other than that, I told that we are going to encrypt this password. So to do that, so we need to have a separate class. So we are going to use MD5. So we are going to create a separate class called MD5 here. So MD5, and I have already uploaded the class, the MD5 class to the VLE, so you can also use that one. So this will be the MD5 hashing algorithm. So I'm going to copy this one and I'm going to paste that thing here like this, and I need to add some packages. That means, so I'm using some libraries here, so therefore we need to add those libraries first. Okay, now I have added all these things, so I'm just doing the formatting now. Okay, format. This is MD5 class. So this is the class that we are going to use to encrypt the password. So now in the register.jsp file, so servlet file, you know that we got the password here. So now without directly saving this into this password variable, what I'm doing is I'm going to call this MD5 class and get MD5. So I'm going to pass this value to this class. So now once I pass this value to this class, so I will get sorry, so I will get the encrypted one. So now I'm going to save this to the database. So before that, you know that we have under this DB connector, so we have added a driver. So this driver is not there in our working environment. So the first thing is we need to add this driver. So you can go to this libraries and you can go new. Okay, click on this one and go to the properties, and you can go to this build path, and here class path you can add a external jar file here. So this is my MySQL driver, so I'm going to add it like this. So then apply and apply close. Sorry. Now I added the driver. So now if I expand this library and here if I refresh, okay, my this one is there, the MySQL JDBC drive is there. So I'm going to now I'm going to add these values to the database. So here we have got these values. So first I'm going to create a query here. So we will create a variable called query, and this will be an insert query because I'm going to insert some data to the database. Insert into, and then the database name. So I will go to my database. So this is the database so the table name, so the table name is user. Okay, so insert it to user, and I'm going to insert only to this first name, last name, username and password, so only to these ones. So I'm going to copy these ones and paste it here. So first name, last name, username, password, and values. So what are the values? So we are going to use a prepared statement here, therefore we are not going to add any value. So we will add placeholders because we can set these values through this prepared statement object. Okay, so this is the query. Insert into user, first name, last name, username, password, and these are the values. So now we are going to have a prepared statement. So before that, again in here also we need to import java.sql. So I will import java.sql.asterisk. Okay, now I'm going to use prepared statement, and I will name this as pstmt equal so I'm going to use the connection that I have already created. So the connection, so we are having a class called db connector, so we are going to call to this db connector class, and then we are going to get the connection from there, and then we are going to prepare the statement. So the query is passed because we need to have a query to prepare. Okay, what's the issue here? Okay, the exception is throwing here, so therefore we need to have a try catch block here. So what we can do is surround with the try catch. Okay, so I'm going to add it as like this, try catch. So then once we created this object, so now we need to add these values to this placeholder, because in the query we are having placeholders, so we need to add values to these placeholders. So I'm going to use this pstmt dot set string method to add a string. So the first placeholder, so here you can see we are having the first name as the first placeholder. So these are the placeholders. So here this is the first one, second one, third one, and fourth one. So we are going to add first name as the first one, like this. So now we need to have last name, username, password. Okay, so second one is last name, and third one is username, and fourth one will be the password. Okay, first name, second, last name, username, password. So now we are going to execute this one. But once we execute it, so first we need to check whether this is executed correctly. So therefore we have discussed that based on the query that we are going to execute, so we are getting different output, that means different results from the database side. So if it is select query, so we are getting a result set. But if it is a what do you call this, insert, delete, update query, so we will get number of rows affected. So in this case we are using as actually insert query. So therefore I will use if condition like this. So if pstmt dot execute update is greater than 0, so that means once we have executed this query, if you are getting a value greater than 0, that means we have actually updated the ones updated we have actually updated something on the database. So that means number of rows affected is greater than 0. So then we are going to display a message so to the user, out dot println. Okay, so we didn't define the out here. So first we need to define out here. Print writer out equal response dot get writer. Okay, so now we are going to use out now here, out dot println, and we are going to display successfully saved. Okay, else if the number of rows affected, that means after executing this one, if you are not getting a value greater than 0, so then what will happen, what actually happen? So that means it didn't execute correctly. So then we will have a message like error sorry occurred, like this. Now let's try this one. So now I'm going to index.html and I'm going to run this one. Okay, I'm going to restart this server. Okay, so we will use these values. And click register. Okay, so we are having a problem that is null object. Okay, so we are not getting I think that is because of the driver. So we can solve this by adding this drive into the deployment path. So you can go to the properties and you can go to this deployment assembly, and here so we can go add and archive from the file system and go next, add. So we'll select this one and then we are going to click finish. Okay, so we have added this again because sometimes it will automatically add it, but if it is not adding, so then we can use this option. So we'll go to here and run on server. Yes, okay, and finish. Okay, let's try it again and check whether it's working now. Okay, now we can see it successfully saved. Okay, so we will go to the database and we will see whether those actually saved. Yes, we have saved the data correctly, and you can see now the password is encrypted, so we are not going to save the original, that means the plain text value. So we are actually encrypting. So here you can see before saving this password to this password variable, we are going to send this one to get md5. Get md5 is md5 class we have already implemented. So this is the get md5 method, and then we are passing this password, and after that we are getting the hash text. Okay, so that text we are going to save into this variable, and then that is what we are actually going to save to the database. So then successfully saved. So we have successfully saved this one to the database. So that's all about this activity 2. So this is the activity 2. So we actually saved. Okay, that's all about this activity. Thank you, and we will back again with activity 3.